Tonight we celebrate the Rated R Superstar Edge right here on In This Very Ring.
Oh my God! I'm embarrassed! He's flying!
Welcome in. It's almost time.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to an all-new edition of In This Very Ring right here on A2D Radio. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. I am the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. I am the one they call Ritz. And joining me as he now does each and every Friday night, it's the OGP. It is Mr. Pete Evans.
Oh, this is better suited for tonight.
Yes, this is very much better suited for tonight.
We're going to do two fingers. We're going to do this tonight. This is hand symbol tonight. You know why. What's up, man?
What's going on, buddy? How are you?
Bro, okay. I'm officially on vacation. I don't go back to work until the 28th.
Hey, there you go.
Plans changed. So, as some of you don't know, I lost my uncle over the last week. So, was going to go to Texas for a little bit, but now I'm not doing that. So a lot of staycation daily stuff, but anytime you can get away from the office and then you getting paid to be away from the office, you know what I mean? You can't really complain.
Oh, absolutely.
So, but, yeah, man, I know we talked about it. Tonight was a big night, and a lot of things, and a lot of times you don't realize what things mean or what value or what weight they carry until you can see that being taken away a little bit. And I think we got a little bit of that tonight. So I'm happy to get into it. I'm happy to be here with you. No Butters tonight. Butters is playing cards somewhere.
Yeah, but Butters is no Butters tonight. He is doing a launch of a brand new trading card game at Cards and Comics.
What is this game called?
I don't remember. It's a Disney-style game. It's about Disney characters or whatever. It starts with an A. I think it starts with an A. Don't quote me on that. I think I'm going to try to swing by there Sunday because they're playing the game all weekend. I'm going to try to swing by there Sunday and take a look and see if this is worth my time. But we thank Butters for letting us know ahead of time and not dropping it on us that he wasn't going to be here. But before we get into everything, we want to thank our sponsor, Allen's Travel. Allen's Travel specializes in creating a vacation of your dreams at Disney Universal or wherever your heart calls you. Let their talented team of travel experts create a custom vacation for you without any of the stress. Allons on over to allons-travel.com/take the trip to get in touch with myself, Chucks, or any of the other talented travel agents, and we can start planning your next vacation as early as tonight. Oh, man. And Pete already alluded to it. Tonight in Toronto, WWE celebrated 25 years of the Hall of Famer, the Rated R Superstar, the one we call Edge. And how did we do it other than multiple different packages throughout the night, multiple testimonies from fellow superstars? He capped the night off with a tremendous match against the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus, which we will talk about later on in the show. But first, we start with our topic of conversation. And there was no better question to ask than this one. It is brought to you by our friends at Specialized Physical Therapy. Dr. Paul Vidal and his team, specializedphysicaltherapy.com is where you can find them on the web, or Burlington or Cherry Hill, New Jersey locations. Edge is in your top 10 wrestlers of all time. Pete, take it away. Do you agree or disagree?
First, Tom, you can't find yourself. I don't want to hear that shit.
Yeah, but I can. I can find him.
Yes. I can
do that.
As the director of finance.
No, just the company Jew.
No, that's true. That is true. I don't know. It's top 10 of all time. he's in there. He's closer to 10 than the 1 for me. Just because I see Jake's comment. I've seen more wrestling and not seen as watch tapes and went back. You can watch old things, but living through moments.
Yeah.
When you see more decades, it's just I would say this. I would say that he is definitely probably the most underappreciated post-attitude era wrestler.
He's that ruthless aggression star. That's where he really made his name. And as we go through his career, we talk about some of his bigger highlights and things of that nature. You realize he really peaked in that ruthless aggression era from the 2002, 2003, where he was breaking away from Christian, becoming an independent, a solo star, had those run-ins with Kurt Angle and Chris Jericho, and unifying the Intercontinental and United States titles for the first time post-invasion. You forget some of the things that he's done. He's the first. He's the Charlotte Flair of the women's division. What Charlotte is to the women's division now, he is to the ruthless aggression era just in general. I would agree. I would say he's up there. I mean, I haven't watched. Yeah, I haven't watched. Let me phrase it. I have watched. We talked about it on Fandemonium. WWE Classics on Demand was something that you had if you had Comcast when in the early days of digital cable, and I spent a lot of time watching a lot of content, a lot of classic matches. My dad had the old VHS tapes of Starrcade. Yeah, and we had the
I can still name every main event of Starrcade, probably.
We had a couple rafter matches.
Yeah.
Yep. I had a couple matches, tapes of those. So I've seen a lot. I've watched a lot, or I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. And I would have to say Edge is in that top 10 easily for me.
Yeah. So quick exercise. Run through your top 10 as of right now.
Oh man.
I know.
Undertaker's at the top for me. It's completely biased, but I think Undertaker, with everything that he did and how he kept himself relevant without changing his character too drastically. I mean, yes, we had the American Badass phase, but he kept that. Undertaker, and this is in no particular order, but these are 10 guys. But Undertaker's at the top of mine. Okay. Hogan, mostly for what he did, not who he is. The Rock, Austin, Michaels, Flair, that's 6. Edge, that's 7. Triple H, Cena, Angle.
Okay. So
and then you look at like top 20, you'd see names like Dusty Rhodes. You would see names like Roddy Piper. You would see names of not Cowboy Bob, but Ted DiBiase, and you would see some of those 80 stars. But you think about, yes, those guys did a lot, but wrestling was
different.
Wrestling was very different. And you think of that new age and on that 1991, 1992 in professional wrestling, that transition phase when Bret Hart came into play, Michaels came into play. That's where wrestling really took off. That's where wrestling changed the game. And the people that I listed were a big part of why wrestling is what it is now.
Right. So I'm actually going to change my answer. I'm actually going to disagree to the poll. And it's not to knock Edge, because honestly, and bringing it back to Edge, because for me, Rock, Austin, Michaels, no particular order. Michaels is my all-time favorite GOAT. Like that's just personal bias. Rock, Austin, Michaels, Taker, Angle. You got to put Lesnar in there now. Hogan, Flair. This is once again no particular order. Once we get past Michaels, and once again you can at me if you want. 711 Hokage at on IG, Dat Boy Freeze on Twitter. But here's the thing: the reason why I can't have Edge in the top 10 is because I don't even think through the ruthless aggression era he was the best of his time, and that's because you have Randy Orton that I can't. There's no way I can. For me, if you have or that era, Orton, Cena, Edge is in the top 15 for me. He's just not top 10 because I can't give him that because to me, he's not better than Orton. That may be because Orton never had to take time off until now. You see what I'm saying?
But you think about
they're different.
They are different, but you said it yourself wonderfully. We think of Ruthless Aggression. We think of three names: Edge, Orton, and Cena. Those three names were synonymous with each other's career. But Edge was the veteran of the three of those guys. Edge was the old man, technically in that group, in that class, but he was keeping up with them. He was rising through the ranks. Yes, you still had Triple H around. Triple H was still a top contender, but those three, it was always so compelling when they got together and they started doing something. And I mean, hell, you had the year of it was either Cena versus Orton or Cena versus Edge. I think it was like 2007, 2008, where
you could throw Batista in there every once in a while.
Yeah, but even still, even still, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. You had Eddie, you had Undertaker, you had Ray, you had all these guys, but the big scene every year was what's Cena doing, what's Edge doing, what's Orton doing.
Well, you think about 2006 through 2008 ish. That was Cena and Edge the whole time, and every once in a while you would sprinkle somebody in there. Who cost Cena the title at ECW against Van Dam? Edge did.
Who cashed in the first Money in the Bank at New Year's Revolution?
Edge did.
Yep.
So like he was always synonymous, always hand in hand. And once again, this is not the rain on Edge's parade. It's tough because there are things that we saw in the packages tonight that I forgot. You know what I mean? That forgot, like just the comedic side after Christian.
Yes.
The Kurt Angle when he's passing it and he doing
those notes. Oh my god, those photos.
Classic.
And that was ahead of its time because now that's like a TikTok trend.
Yep. Yeah. So it's like it is. So there's things that you forget, and that's why we were saying before we came on. You get in this moment to where you don't realize what you have until it's fading away. And honestly, ever since because he's been back now, 3 years? Yeah. We saw, and he started to tail off. So he's been very calculated on his appearances. Even if you go back to last year when when ultimately the Judgment Day forced him out, and he still reinvented himself, albeit still around the same. Martian, I see your one comment. I do not agree with that. I'm sorry.
I'm responding as A2D Radio to him because I'm gonna let you roll, and then I'm gonna expand on what I'm saying here. So keep going.
So that's tough because Edge never did it outside of that universe of where he's at. And that's once again, no knock to him. This is what he chose. I will say Edge has always done what he's wanted to do. I don't ever think that Edge was in something or put something out that he didn't want to happen. He was very in control of his direction, in control of his storytelling. Like even when I forget what it was, the documentary of him coming back, or not him coming back, but just overall the angle that they shot was seeing his father.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like how he goes into detail for that. Even like the package thing, how Taker talks about him, like he would risk it all to make those in the crowd happy. And he's always shown his emotions on his sleeve, whether he was working as a face, whether he was working as a heel. You knew what he was feeling because he was getting that reaction and he was giving it right back. You could see how emotional it was tonight. So every one of these matches that leads up to ultimately when he does hang it up, everything for him on this run has been borrowed time, bro. This was never supposed to happen.
No, and it never was. You go back, and I was there. I was in Minute Maid Park the night of Royal Rumble 2020 when Edge made that long-awaited return, and you could feel the building shake. And they had the dome closed because it's a dome stadium. You could feel the building shake. You could see the cups moving as the place just roared when he came out at number 21.
So fitting too.
Yeah. And it was from there, everything that happened after that, the pandemic, everything like that. it couldn't have played out any better for Edge because he really, like you said, this was something that he never thought he could do. And now he gets to tell the story in his own way. And now, because of the pandemic, because of the Thunderdome, because he was able to do it exactly how he wanted to do it.
Exactly. Yes. So much control over his story. And it's a testament to him. I mean,
and you talk about control over the story. Here it is right here. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Speaking of Ruthless, the Edge and Matt Hardy beef not talked about enough.
Yep.
That right there, to be comfortable enough, because we all know the real story behind it. And if you don't know, Lita was with Matt. Lita cheated on Matt with Edge. There was legitimate bad blood. Matt got fired over it.
Heat.
Yeah, but it was bad blood. It was past heat. It was a blood feud.
No, I'm talking about he got fired because Matt didn't. It was no work with
Matt. Everything Matt did was a shoot from that point. Yep. But Edge said, no. This is gonna be. Not obviously Edge wasn't the only person to say, but he was comfortable enough to say, "Hey, I'll get in the ring with this guy. Yeah, I know he wants to really whoop my ass, but I'll get in the ring with this guy. We'll do a program." Business. And it's like when Matt comes back. That's one of the best moments in that feud. And just the random attacks that Matt would do. And then Vince says, all right, if you're going to keep attacking him, I might as well just hire you back. And there was so much realism to it. So much. Yep. We've got Chrome talking about this run was house money and a chance for him to go on his terms. Got some great matches we never thought we'd get. AJ Finn, etc. I'm so happy for him.
Yep.
Totally. Brian says, my top 10 in no order: Cena, Orton, Taker, Edge, Austin, Rock, Lesnar, Angle, Triple H, Mick Foley. Martian, Matt Hardy called him Adam after attacking him. And that was what it was. Yep. It was real. It was first.
He was fucking up Adam Copeland, bitch.
Yeah, it was that first glimpse of realism that we saw. Yeah. And Edge was a trailblazer for that.
Yep.
So as you look at his career, we're not going to go year by year. We're not going to go like persona from persona, because that would just get boring. We're just going to kind of bounce around. We're going to talk about things. Let me ask you, what was your first memory, I guess you could say, of Edge? What's the first thing you remember him doing or being a part of?
It probably really didn't hit me till I saw the first package. Like when they were doing the vignettes and he was doing that emo running shit. Like he would be running back and forth like real hype emo type shit. Yeah, I remember that. But as far as like in ring, like where I really took notice, I always loved his first finisher. People don't know it's called the Impaler. It's that high rise DDT. I love that. Then he had the execution. But for me, honestly, I think what put him on the map was the with him and Christian. But then from that, he transitioned into so much more. TLC, obviously, the first one. Like that's epic. How do you like you talked about the I don't think they called them Raptor matches and scaffold matches.
Scaffold
matches.
Yeah, they were scaffold match. I couldn't think of the word.
But that was the precursor that what led to shit like TLC.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? And that whole build up to that match, that payoff, that's when I really started to notice him. And I will honestly say Christian holds his own in his own right. He just never had the opportunity to do it in WWE like that, like he's done it in other places. You know what I mean? But that's where I first started to notice. And then he was always willing to be that guy, like who would push the boundaries to points that made you feel uncomfortable.
And we'll get into some of those. But for me, I remember, I can't tell you much about it, but here's what I remember. I remember turning on Sunday Night Heat. Okay. I just started watching wrestling. And I remember these three dudes coming out, jacking up somebody, the lights going out, coming back on, and that person they were just beating up on was covered in blood.
Yep.
And that was the Brood. And I just remember looking at my mom or my dad or whoever's in the room and going, "What was that? Why are they allowed to do that?" Right? And
now you can't watch this anymore.
yeah. And my parents were just like, "I don't know how we feel about that." I was like, no. I get to stay and watch this. And then ultimately that would lead to the Brood joining the Ministry of Darkness, which is one of my favorite eras of the Undertaker.
Yep.
Where I really got to understand that this guy's crazy, which led to the first WrestleMania in Philly, where they were instrumental in hanging the Big Boss Man.
Yep.
So many different things, like all of that one moment just spawned into so much. But yes, him and Christian were the tag team. You look at the tag teams of that era, It was them, the Hardys, and the Dudleys. And it's funny, we talk about it now. We talk about the
and they were the only ones that kind of work as heels all the time.
Yeah, and we talk about the tag team divisions now. It's like, oh, there's not a lot of tag teams. You go back to that point,
dude.
There were only really the three of those guys. I mean, the three of those teams. You got like Kai and Ty and some of these comedic teams or whatever.
You had the headbangers and shit like that.
Yeah, teams that were passing the title around. It was 3 teams.
Yep.
But they were doing them in, to quote Sheamus, banger after banger after banger of matches. And that first TLC win, yes, granted, they were champions going into that match, which a lot of people forget. A lot of people forget that they were the champions going in. All they did was retain their title that night. They didn't win shit.
They left with what they came with.
Yeah, they walked in with 10 pounds of gold, and they walked the fuck back out with 10 pounds of gold.
I love those old school tag team title designs too, bro.
Yeah, they were sweet. They were very, very sweet. And then for the benefit of those with flash photography,
5 seconds.
Those were so and I was kind of in my teens at that point, and I literally thought those were the dumbest things ever. But looking back on them now, they're funny as hell.
Yep.
Here's Chrome. I remember the original video packages before he ever actually wrestled. So many memories, but my top 3 are the spear on Jeff at WrestleMania 17, putting Foley through the flaming table at WrestleMania 22, and his TLC match against Cena in Canada. He was a heel and got so emotional before the bell even rang. And that was the other thing. Even when he's a heel and they were in Canada, he would still take that moment and pander the crowd and get hype and have the I do this for a living, I made it moment.
Right.
He always took the time to enjoy it and relish it, and he never took it for granted. And you could see that every chance that he was out in the ring.
And also, just to piggyback off of that, even before that, so you tell me another star who has a Hall of Famer who has stages of their life documented before they had this dream. This is what they wanted to do. They did that, not only to say that they did it, but they did it and they excelled at it, had it taken away. By God's grace, was able to come back and do it again. And like Chrome said, what I mean by that is you go and you watch where he was sitting in the stands watching Bret Hart
at WrestleMania 6.
WrestleMania 6. And it's not just to say that he was there. Oh, I'm not just spitting out that story. No, here's pictures. I was actually there. Now he was on the wrong side of WrestleMania 6. I mean, because he was a Hulkster fan at that time. I mean, you couldn't stop the Warrior at that point. Now hindsight's 2020, but and then I mean, I know how Chrome feels about Bret Hart. That's another one. I know it's a touchy subject for you as well. And
Why do you think I say I'm the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be? I do it pure out of spite. But that interview where Bret Hart's on a talk show, and I think it's a Canadian talk show, and you see that in the video package they ran tonight.
Yep.
And he's talking to Bret about how do I get in the business? What do I do? What's some advice you can give me? I want to run through, and it's very interesting when you think about Edge. When he made his debut in WWE, he never looked back at any other promotion.
Nope.
Yeah, he was in ICW for a hot second. He was in the Canadian Wrestling Association, and he was in Tokyo Pro Wrestling. But once he hits the WWE, he never goes back. And listen to this. I'm going to read off this man's WWE accomplishments. He is a 4-time WWE champion. He is a 7-time World Heavyweight Champion. He is a 5-time Intercontinental Champion. He's a 1-time United States Champion. He is a 12-time World Tag Team Champion. He's a 2-time WWE Tag Team Champion. He is a King of the Ring winner. He is the inaugural winner of the Money in the Bank. He's a 2-time Royal Rumble winner. He's the 14th Triple Crown champion. He's the 3rd Grand Slam champion in history. I'm sorry, under the current format, 13th overall. He won the 2010 Bragging Rights Trophy. He won the 2008 Championship Chase Tournament, the 2005 Gold Rush Tournament. He is a 4-time Slammy Award winner, and in 2012, he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Was he the fastest after retiring to ever be inducted?
I believe so. Eddie might have him beat.
Okay.
Because of physical time, right? Eddie passes in November. By March, they're inducting him. Edge retires in April. By the next April, they're inducting him. So we're looking at semantics. But yes, he's in that under a year category.
Yeah. Martian, that was a good one too. I was gonna bring that up. Like, I mean, as risque as he pushed it, bro. Like, he can go on the in ring to Celebration.
Dude, when I tell you, I am a teenager when this shit is happening.
And he has some stiff socks, boys.
But no, not even that. Like, not even that. I remember they were promoting it. And in my head, I was like, there's no way. Right? Like, WWE can get away with a lot of shit, but there's no way, right? Like, and then
he pushed it, man.
And then, like, you watch, and I remember watching it, and they get under the covers, and clothes start flying. And you're like, whoa, wait a minute. And there's obviously, it's historic. There are screen grabs of that night where there were certain incidents that have taken place, but like they get pretty far in the process before what is it? Cena comes out and interrupts them.
Yeah, Cena. Yeah,
and you're like,
that had to be like 06, right?
Yeah, like wait a minute, what are y'all doing back there?
Yeah, and like for as many stories as you've heard, Wild Out, like Edge and Vince's relationship probably was great because Vince could probably come to Edge with something, and Edge was like, okay, I like that, but how can we take it further? Yes. Or Edge would go to Vince and he would say the same thing. I like that, but how can we take it further? Pushed it all. I mean, the whole, not even, all right. So after that, the shit with him and Vicky, like it rated RKO. Like,
oh my God,
bro, like the heat that this dude used to get, bro, was just,
nothing to me is better than rated RKO. And I'll tell you why. Rated RKO was the 2000, I have it right here. But it was like 2005, 2006, or 2006, 2007. It was 2006, 2007. It wasn't really a long time in his career, but it was the lead into Survivor Series. Mm-hmm. And Survivor Series was in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. And I remember we were going to meet Mr. Kennedy, and Kennedy, we were the last people to meet him. And Kennedy tells us before they make the announcement, he goes, hey, in about 10 minutes, we're going to announce that there are still tickets on sale at the box office. So we looked at my buddy's mom and said, to the box office. And we bought tickets for the next night because it was a Saturday and it was Sunday. And that was the night where Team DX, which was comprised of DX, the Hardys, and a very young rookie CM Punk, against Rated RKO, which had, I believe, Snitsky, Drew McIntyre, a bunch of I'd have to go back and look at the actual card, but
you said
semantics at that point. But they clean swept them. Right? Mm-hmm. and that was just another bit of incredible storytelling, because that was also the same year where they had all the teams there on Raw, and they're talking about starting the Royal Rumble or whatever. Like, it was just comedy because Flair had a team and the Spirit Squad had a team, and like all this chaos.
No, I remember it. It was back then. It was like, we have talent, we have all these guys. We're gonna throw stuff at the wall, and it sticks. And but Rated RKO was a force.
Dude,
like I feel like Rated RKO. People can at me if I want, because how well it was done and the players that were involved in it. That is what Austin and Triple H 2001 to 2002 should have been.
I think it could have been had Triple H not Terror Squad.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it could have got, but just also the road of which how those two got there and came together, because you have Randy stepping out of his own post Evolution, right? And then you have Edge post losing to John Cena. I don't think Lita was around at that point either. If I'm not mistaken.
I think she was for a little bit, because she comes in 2005. I think she was in and out at this point. Maybe she'd already retired. Yeah, I think she might have already retired at that point.
Because she broke her neck, right?
Yeah. Let me see. Keep going. I'll figure this out on Lita.
No, but man, dude, I'm sitting here Googling, like,
she retired in 2006. So yeah, she would have. I have Edge's Wikipedia up. So
okay. No, I mean, dude, like, from that, and it was Flair who stopped the in-ring celebration, which led to that beatdown. You heard Charlotte talk about it tonight, like the match that was it a tables match? She was sitting in the crowd at Raw, if I'm not mistaken, and you have Flair take a table bump from Edge. Like, I forgot they even sniffed each other. Like, I forgot completely about that, dude. Well, so it's like, bro, like, he's worked with everybody.
Who was he? Do you remember? Like, so obviously everybody remembers he was tag team champions with Christian. Mm-hmm. Who else was he tag team champions with? Can you tell me?
Ray.
Yep.
Hogan.
Who else? The Hogan one, a lot of people forget. And I will never forget that night.
They beat Billy and Chuck, right?
On 4th of July.
Okay.
Because it was Hogan had just come back to the red and the red and the yellow.
Yep.
And Edge needed a partner, and Real American fills that arena, and Edge just looks at like, oh my God, like, this is happening.
Yeah.
Face Edge was great. But once he did Rated RKO, there was no going back to being a face.
Nope.
And even now in this new run, yeah, he was a face, but he was more like a vigilante.
Yes.
He was a hero, but an anti-hero. He was just out there being like, I'm the veteran and you're an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah. He wasn't out there trying to get cheers and all that.
No.
He was out there just truly being himself. I think this is probably the most Adam Copeland-esque Edge we've seen, an extension of himself.
Correct. I do agree.
Because he wasn't holding any, like, no emotions. And anytime he felt something, anger, pissed off, like good emotions, bad emotions, he showed it. Like, and then it never got in the way of the in ring. If I'm not mistaken, was he 47?
I'll tell you.
47, 48.
Roll up. He is, drum roll please, 49.
Wow. Shit, bro. Now I feel fucking old. But no, I mean, it's just, we can go. I mean, fam, keep the remember La Familia? That was him and Eddie, right?
That was him and Vicky.
Him and Vicky.
Do you remember?
Was that what it was called?
Yeah, it was called La Familia because it was Edge, Vicky, Chavo.
Okay.
But he had the Edge heads. Do you remember who were the Edge heads?
Wasn't Molly Holly one of them?
Nope.
Edge heads.
It was Kurt Hawkins. and
Was it Helms too?
No, a very young Zack Ryder.
No, I never would have got that one.
Which, do you know who Kurt Hawkins was? No, never mind. Zack Ryder's also known as Matt Cardona.
Yes, yeah. Isn't he a current GCW champion, or did he lose that?
I don't know if he still is or not, but just in general, though, right? Like, you look at what he spawned from that. Look at the people that he helped, the careers he helped kickstart and grow, and where is it? But
look at his. You speak to that, right?
Nope, not that one.
Look at his latest. Look at his latest with the Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Everybody thought the Judgment Day was dead in the water after he left. You know what I mean?
Everybody thought that, but if it's not for Edge, I'm not going to put all of it on Edge. Mm-hmm. Edge had a big hand in Rhea Ripley being what she is now.
I think he gave her the confidence.
Yes, he did.
And he gave her an outlet.
He gave Damian the confidence.
Yes.
Right? And then those two, within weeks, gave that same confidence to Dominic.
Yeah. And I think, like, we all seen it, right? Where we see Taker kind of doubt himself, and we all see that where Trips goes to him. It's like, remember who you are. Remember, and I don't think Edge can do that with Damian and Rhea, but I think he can say, like, listen, like, everything you feel, all that frustration, let that out. Yeah. Because let that aggression out. Because Rhea had got stagnant from, bro, like, I'll never forget Rhea in the end of 2019. She beat Shayna on NXT on a Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday night at that time, or maybe something Wednesdays. But she was getting carried around on the shoulders. To 4 months later, fast forward, Charlotte wins the Rumble. She's out here tapping out in front of nobody. You know what I mean? And then ever since then, she was floundering. Every tag team. We're like, yo, this girl is a badass. She's the biggest broad, strongest broad y'all got. Why is she a face? And you couldn't do anything storyline wise that made sense to turn her. So you took her away from TV for a while. Boom. First member. Second member, because I think Priest was there already.
Yeah, Priest was there already.
You know what I mean? So, and look, like you said, Edge has always, and I'll give him kudos for that. He's always been about the business. The business is bigger than myself. He's never really been a me guy. He's always been a we guy. And how can we better the business? He's never been afraid to do business. I'm pretty sure there's guys he put over all those title reigns that you had to lose them bitches to. Probably guys that's not even where we would think they would be at that point. You know what I mean?
Well, and this one right here, I wanted to touch on this. Edge changed the game on how you cash in Money in the Bank. Edge didn't change the game, and I said this in the comments that he set the bar, and nobody ever moved the bar. He welded that bitch in place and said, "This is how you do it." Now, and I think to some extent, like, that's why, like, I get a little frustrated when you win the Money in the Bank at Money in the Bank now, and then 2 hours later you're cashing it in. Yeah. Edge held that thing. He won it
almost a year.
Back then, you were doing Money in the Bank at WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. That was WrestleMania 21. Mm-hmm. By January is when he cashed it in, because I remember New Year's Revolution. I wasn't able to watch it. We're not going to get into it. But
okay.
Yeah, we're not going to get into it. But he cashed in that night, and that he showed you how to do it. It literally wasn't anytime, anywhere. Mm-hmm. As long as the champion could, quote unquote, go. Yep. Right? And that the only person who had never done that was Braun, and he ended up losing because he's an idiot. Yeah. Right? So he set the bar for that. And then look at SmackDown.
And that's what's so fitting. He got to do this tonight in front of his hometown, and he did it really. He's outside. When you think of SmackDown, yes, it's SmackDown. They tried to market it to The Rock because that was his phrase. But 2 years for a little bit, but he was gone.
Yeah,
He went to Hollywood. So when you think about SmackDown, honestly, you can't say Angle because Angle was gone for a couple years. Lesnar left. Edge is SmackDown.
It was Edge,
Taker,
Undertaker.
Maybe?
It was Undertaker, Edge, Eddie, Ray. They were your big ones.
Yeah.
In that early days of SmackDown, the ones that were putting it all in and putting in the grind. Teddy Long's SmackDown.
Yeah.
For lack of a better phrase. Those were some of your top names, your top stars. Batista was over there as well.
Batista was there for a bit. He kind of fluctuated between back and forth to Raw, but once the World Heavyweight Championship became a thing, Edge was that staple on SmackDown.
Yes.
He was that staple because, Eddie got rest of soul. You know what I mean? Ray, same thing. Ray kind of was there for a little bit, but those people had their moments, but it would come back to Edge, Mm-hmm. And it really was Edge and Taker.
Yeah. Their match at WrestleMania 24, still one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of that, we'll call it of that decade, right? From 20 to 30. You think about all those matches.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. Yeah, you knew Edge was going to lose. You knew, Edge was walking in as champion. You knew he wasn't walking out. You knew he wasn't walking out against Taker as champion.
But didn't he get it back from Taker later that year?
Yeah, he did get it back. But at that time, nobody was talking about, Edge is going to be the one to beat Taker. But then, here's the messed up part. There was a rumor that Taker wanted him to beat him.
Yeah.
And Edge said, nah, fam, I'm not doing it. I'm a bad guy. I ain't going to be that bad guy.
Nah. Because at that point, I don't know. He's too much, Edge is too much for the business, bro.
Yes.
And if it don't make sense, I don't think he would it. You know what I mean? And then, it had to be shit that he probably had his Kofi and Randy moments where how Randy yelled at Kofi with some younger guys, but Edge never scolded anybody. And you hear about him in the back, bro. And even when he did retire the first time, you had special segments. He would come back and do stuff. He just wouldn't be physical. He never truly left. You know what I mean? He would always have these anniversary shows or this, that, and the third. He would always do in-ring work. And then when you would have him and Christian together, they would still remember that a couple of times they did the benefit of those with flash photography.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So through it, honestly, he's probably, I would say how Jake views him, his generation. This is your Taker. And I say that from the standpoint of how he stuck by WWE side through thick and thin, and had probably multiple opportunities to leave and go other places and never would turn his back. And that's because, honestly, I think that's true. That's true to him because he's been a WWE F fan since WrestleMania 6.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He never left. He never talked about leaving. He other than, maybe an injury here, maybe an injury there, he never really took any time off.
Nope.
Because you don't really remember a lot of his injuries, a lot of his time off.
Right.
He was always there every damn week. You heard that. You think you know me, right? And all you wanted to do was boo. Boo this man.
Tall, blonde hair, naturally blonde, not dyeing his shit. You feel what I'm saying?
Yep.
Good looking dude. Always had a girl on his arm until he had Vicky. You feel what I'm saying?
Well, and that even goes back to his debut. His we'll call it main roster debut, right? He filled in and tagged with Sable.
Yep.
Against who was it?
Wasn't it?
Jacqueline and Mark Marrow.
I'm about to say.
And here you go. Edge's first televised match was on June 16th. Well, it aired June 22nd against Jose Estrada Jr., which ended prematurely by countout when Edge performed a somersault senton from the ring to the outside, legitimately injuring Estrada's neck. In his first pay-per-view match at SummerSlam. This man was on SummerSlam out the rip. He was served as Sable's mystery tag team partner, defeating Jacqueline and Mark Marrow after Sable slammed Sable onto Marrow into a pinning position to pick up the win. Then he would face Owen Hart in a losing effort in his first loss on WWF TV at Breakdown in Your House. Then he would go on to Sunday Night Heat, defeating Vader in Vader's final televised match. And at Capital Carnage on December 6th, Edge faced Tiger Ali Singh and lost. And then we're going right into the feud with Gangrel to join the Brood.
Tiger, Jose Estrada Jr. and Tiger Ali Singh, those are some names from the past, boy.
Yeah. Like, just crazy.
It's 25 years, bro. There's a lot. As I'm pretty sure there's moments for everybody that we're probably not discussing that we probably just forgot about. You know what I mean? But whatever night SmackDown was on, he was there.
And let's talk about SmackDown. Let's talk about tonight. Let's talk about specifically the moment when Edge comes down and he's in this beautiful white and blue Maple Leafs outfit. It's beautiful. And he's going to take on Sheamus in their very first match ever, which hard to believe that those two never really touched in the early days, like before Edge's injury.
Right. Because Sheamus, what year did Sheamus win when he put Cena through the table? That was the last pay-per-view of the year. Because that was Spinner Belt.
Yeah.
Was that 05?
Hold on. So he debuts in...
was it late 06?
2009, he debuts on ECW.
Sheamus
he was the WWE champion. He was the WWE champion with the Spinner Belt in 2009. I think it's when he won his first championship.
Yeah, it was a tables match with Cena at
December tables, ladders, and chairs. December 13th.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But I think Edge was involved in that somehow.
It doesn't say. But like I'm reading this right here, they never Sheamus I think was involved when they did the battle against the Nexus.
Okay.
Like they were on the same team, but they never. And Sheamus lost the WWE Championship to Randy Orton in a 6-pack elimination challenge, which also included Chris Jericho, Edge, John Cena, and Wade Barrett. So they've been in some matches together, but never one-on-one.
Never one-on-one.
But it was beautiful. I love that they shake hands at the beginning, and they put everything out there. They left it all on the table. Edge had a beautiful powerbomb from the outside, from the ring apron to the outside. Mm-hmm. The execution.
He speared him through the ropes too, didn't he?
Yeah, the spear through the ropes. The flipping him off for the 10 beasts of the Belfast, and then getting another like 32 slaps or something like that. And if you watch that moment back, Sheamus is like, "Oh, your kids are right there." Like you even see Sheamus go, "I don't know if I want to do this here." And then he's like, "Nope, we're doing it," and just beats the crap out of him. Just insane stuff.
Martian says Nexus really came and went. It did, but Fred Rosser's still around. So
but it also left such an indelible mark. Like,
oh yeah,
the Nexus could be a show of its own.
Yeah.
Hey man, what'd I ever do to you? We're not doing this tonight. I am not talking about Tony Khan. No, not doing it. He's a trash can. He's an absolute trash can.
I mean, I guess you could spell can with the K. I don't feel the same. I think he's learning. He's getting he's growing.
Nope, still don't care. Yeah, couldn't care less.
So are you not watching All In?
Oh, I'll watch All In.
I want to see All In just for the crowd.
So All In, and I didn't realize this because So most AEW pay-per-views we watch
at the theater.
At the theater. Well, this one's at 1:00 in the afternoon on the 27th.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, all right, no one has a showtime for it yet. So if they don't, I'll probably spend the money and we'll live react to it here. I'll get it on Fight.
Okay.
And we'll just live react to it.
How do you get it on Fight? Will you have a VPN?
No, you just buy it.
But isn't Fight like $50 too?
Yeah.
No, but if you like, I thought here was only BR Live. I thought Fight was overseas. Like
or screw it. Whoever I buy it off of, right? I'm gonna buy it off of somebody. I don't remember what it, because I don't, like I said, I would rather spend the $20 to go watch it at the movie theater.
Right.
You know.
It should be decent. I just want to say, my thing is, I don't. This is this little AEW segment because.
Well, I mean, let's put a bow on the edge thing, and then we can kind of do some This Week in Wrestling and talk about some other stuff. Bar none, favorite Edge moment.
I would say the cash in and the return, the first cash in and the return.
So the return, I think, it goes without saying,
right?
But for me, it's definitely when and it's so dumb. And Chrome mentioned it earlier, and I purposely skipped over it. When Cena threw him in the Long Island Sound, because I remember when Austin and The Rock,
right, they did
that bit. And so to see these guys who were our Austin and Rock, for lack of a better phrase, for them to do it later, I was like, all right, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. The return goes without saying.
Yeah. But so I also like the first cash in because that was like, it's a first. And he did hold it for so long.
Correct. He did. All right, well, let's transition. Okay, let's transition into some This Week in Wrestling. Okay, what do you
got? Where do I begin?
Because I personally think that this was a light week,
very light,
and there wasn't really enough to build a show around.
No, I like what I saw out of JD McDonough.
Yeah,
I think. Even though he's smaller in stature, he doesn't look as small in the ring. And I think we can inevitably see him replacing Finn in Judgment Day once Priest wins the title.
Yeah, well, they kind of laid the groundwork for that.
Yeah. Chad Gable will still continue to grow. Why? I honestly want Gable to win. I know it's not going to happen, which makes me upset that they're rushing this match.
I think there's more. So there's so much more going on with this whole storyline, and I love it.
Do you think Maxine turns?
I don't think Maxine turns, but I think she plays a bigger role in the moment, and it'll kind of separate Gable, I think, from Otis and Maxine.
Okay.
And not like, we're going to break up the Alpha Academy, because the Alpha Academy is great.
Right.
It's doing wonders. It's a better version of Chase U.
Right.
But I think she's going to play something. And I don't think Imperium needs Maxine.
They don't.
Right?
Ludwig does. He acts like he does. But I think there's more to it. I think it's smart tactics from, if you really want to go storyline, the Ring General is playing the game. And he's sending his lieutenants out there to distract the enemy. Little things for me, like the details. I love the way, I don't know if you probably noticed it. The way Ludwig gets into the ring, he runs up the steps and he does that double hop on that foot. I think that shit's so little shit like that, bro. Like little stuff like that.
It adds to the performance.
Yes.
I don't like the Nakamura stuff.
I get it, but it's definitely a stopgap feud because I don't like it now, but last week when they did it, because we thought we were getting Cody Seth and was like, all right, this is not
It was a nice swerve.
Right. So throwing the Nakamura shit in there was that swerve. I love the DIY, putting up the pictures, looking for my friend Johnny and whatever. You could roll your eyes, whatever the fuck you want.
No. I'm not rolling my eyes. It makes me so happy.
Okay.
It makes my heart so happy because one of my favorite moments of just the last probably 10 years or
when
so.
They won the tag titles?
When they won the tag titles in Toronto.
Yep.
Oddly enough, look what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And just because they tried and tried and tried and failed and failed and failed, and they finally do it. And it was one of those matches where I was really invested in.
Mm-hmm.
And just those two together are great. I mean, hell, who can forget when they would do the glorious stuff?
Yeah. I mean, what else? So trying to think from Raw, that's about it. NXT was NXT.
And we've talked about it before. NXT, I think, is in a weird transition phase for me. We're building new stars again, so there's going to be that point where I'm like, I do think we see Thea Hall break away from Chase U.
Yeah, welcome.
I'm welcome to that. I think she can do great things. I made the comment about how I love the bit with her and Rey Mysterio.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited. I will say I'm excited for Carmelo and Wesley.
I think Wesley turns. I think it's a chance Carmelo loses.
I think it's a double turn.
You think it's Wes and Trick?
I think so.
And I like Trick. He's so green in the ring, but like his look, it's fucking money, bro. Like his stature, his ring gear. Like, I mean, sometimes he sounds too much like a Muhammad Ali wannabe. You know what I mean? With all the rhyming and all that shit.
What I don't like is if you go back to Tuesday night, he does what looks like he's going to roll over the guy and use that momentum to pick him up.
Yes.
Like he sets himself up for what could be a really cool moment. But he just rolls over the guy and still holding his arm, just like lifts him up, like helps him to his feet daintily, and then hits him with a rock bottom. And you're like, what the fuck just happened?
That's where, like, I think just the timing, the in-ring, because we were probably saying the same thing about Tiffany Stratton 2 years ago.
I don't remember Tiffany Stratton 2 years ago.
Exactly.
My point.
Exactly.
So I could see Trick going with, because it's the solo run's just not working. And no. I think we could definitely see Trick signing with Wes.
And Wes being like,
because Wes
I'll defend my title. I'll defend my title anywhere. It doesn't matter. You put yourself in harm's way. Those guys who are so good, when they turn heel, at this it's just perfect. And at this point, I don't know what the fuck they're doing with Braun. I have no idea.
With who?
With Braun Breaker. I have no idea. When he first turned, I liked it. All black, but then you can't keep having him out here and then you having him lose. Like at that point, just calling him up, making.
Well, not even that. I like Braun Breaker in the ring.
Right.
I think he's very aggressive in the ring. I think he's a good powerhouse. You put a microphone in his hands, or you ask him to show any kind of personality.
I'd rather have his Uncle Scott cut a promo more than him.
Exactly, but it's just so bad. And so I think he's very, very, very one-dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we were seeing him do in the ring as a heel was the same thing you saw him doing in the ring as a face, just maybe a little bit more violent.
Right.
Really for no reason, because you're getting your ass kicked at the end.
Right, you're getting put through tables.
Yeah, like you can't get the job done. You haven't been able to get the job done.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
It is. It's the same thing with his girlfriend. I don't know what the fuck they're doing with Cora Jade. I like Cora Jade. They just...
And again, like I said, I think we're in that we're in that transition phase where you spend a lot of time going, what the fuck kind of miserable existence do you people have?
The story came out where Nick Khan saying he wants NXT eventually to be standing on it, like he can stand on his own, like its own separate brand.
Yep.
You don't have the horses for that right now.
No, you because you pillaged them.
Yeah.
At the draft, and that's why
and you're not even doing anything with them.
And that's why I hate the draft for that aspect. I like the draft. I think it's nice that we do a draft. It's fun because you try to pan it around the NFL draft, and it's good. It's good for everybody. But what bothers me so much is that you pillage NXT and you don't really do anything with these guys when you could just leave them down there. And let's go back to the surprise call up. Let's go back to the random Monday night where Braun Breaker runs out and levels Seth Rollins because he can.
Right.
You know, let's go back to that and not waiting to call people up until the draft, but then not use them for 6 months like JD McDonough.
Yep.
Perfect example.
Yep. Like I would still at this point, if Indy didn't get hurt, because you called her up while she was NXT champion.
And she got hurt while she was NXT champion.
And I would have rather seen her run and NXT as women's champion right now.
I think that would have been perfect for her. It would have been great for her to run as the NXT women's champion and to help build those stars. You leave her down there. And then you took your tag team champions, and then you took the number one contenders for the tag team championships, and then you just said,
and they haven't been seen since.
And then you're going to disband the tag team championships because you're just going to have them absorbed by the women's tag team titles, which are now sitting on Chelsea Green and Piper Niven because regrettably Sonya Deville got hurt. Okay.
Yep.
But now what the fuck are you guys going to do?
Yeah.
Right.
Bro. Then the Creed brothers are out. Then they're in. I actually think the tag team division on the main roster could use the Creed brothers if they just had a mouthpiece.
And the New Day said it great. We were gone for a few months and the tag division went to hell.
Yeah. Yep.
I like the Creed brothers with Ivy. I think she is there, and she's the powerhouse, right?
Right.
She's the bad bitch that you don't want to mess with. But she's also there to keep them in check and keep them in line and be like, hey, keep your eyes on the prize. I'm not the mouthpiece. I don't need to be.
Yep.
Right? I need to be the one to keep you guys focused so you go out there and be the best versions of yourself that you can be. While you're taking care of business, bitch, I want your title.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? They're a great trio.
Yep. And because they all look like you. If you've seen them walk into a gym, you could tell like they would all have something in common.
Correct.
They look believable.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like the whole metaphor thing. I like Noam.
I don't like this at all.
I don't see. It's hard for me to figure out what Takara Jackson and Lash Legend have in common with a white Irish dude. I don't. And a South African dude. Like I just don't.
I hate the whole Heritage Cup bit. I all of it's dumb.
I want to turn it into an actual belt.
Yeah, at that point, do that.
Turn it into a strap. The Heritage belt, the Heritage, whatever you want to call it. Turn and still have it under the same rules, but you walking around carrying this damn cup. There's a reason why we disbanded NXT UK.
Yep.
You feel what I'm saying? I don't know what they're doing with Tyler Bate. I like Bate, and then also you got Mustafa Ali coming down. You got, I don't know if these now at first I thought they were sending people to NXT not down, but like a linear move to like kind of whatever. And now I just think they're there to try to elevate the talent to get them up. And I'm like,
the only person that's really gone quote unquote down or even over and not been too terrible with it, there have been two people. Baron Corbin and Dana Brooke.
Yep. Corbin's the music. Corbin's he's a chill dude in real life too, man. That's like I would grab a beer with Corbin, bro.
Oh yeah, so would I.
Talk steak. Like, bro, this dude, everything. Like it's just But like, I mean, Dana eventually is going. Obviously, we're going to see her smash the shot at Kalani Jordan. But also at the same time too, I think with NXT they've had a lot of injuries too. Like there's Nikita's out, she's healthy, but why they haven't bring it? Maybe they're waiting for the right time. So Ruka, same thing. So it's like you got a lot of injuries across the board, especially with the females, right?
Yes.
I don't know if Gigi's hurt. I don't know what the fuck they're doing with JC Jane.
I think the Mandy thing really threw a huge wrench in not only the women's division, but specifically the careers of Gigi and JC, because I don't think that the Mandy reign was going to end. I think she'd still be champion today. In all honesty, I think Toxic Attraction would still be at the top of its game. Right. I think they would be running Ruckshaw. We'd still have NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. So Mandy leaving does definitely throw a huge wrench in that. And I think they just have borderline panicked because they were going to use Mandy and how dominant Toxic Attraction's been to build the women up to eventually say, all right, Mandy, thank you for your service. Right. We're going to put the title on Cora, or we're going to put the title on Tiffany or Thea, or, insert name here.
Right.
So I do think that, and yes, we are, almost a year, since that has happened. But when you're a developmental company like that, you have the luxury to build that stuff out a lot further when you're operating out of one building.
Mm-hmm.
You're not on the road. You're doing everything out of the Capitol Wrestling Center. And so you are just rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
You have the ability to build those stories out. And when somebody goes down, you're like, fuck.
Yep. Yeah, it puts a wrench in it. But that's what happened at NXT. AEW was, listen, man, the Adam Cole MJF shit is cool. I will still say the AEW MVP is Orange Cassidy, bro. Like, I need this. He's the best. I won't say home. Like, it's MJF and Orange Cassidy. That's it. Those are the top two as far as the best AEW homegrown stars. Honestly,
I like Sammy Guevara. I don't necessarily like him as a heel. And I don't.
They took care of that this week.
But I don't like him married to Chris Jericho. I didn't like him married to Chris Jericho, I should say.
And that seems like it's going to last a little bit longer.
Which pisses them.
Or you have, once you get to All In, you have Sammy say, I meant what I said. Fuck you. I'm joining the Callis family.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I'll hate that even more. I just hate Don Callis. He's got probably the most punchable face in pro wrestling.
I would agree. That camera thought so too when he got.
but my point being though, with AEW, they're kind of in this. Yes, we're building to All In. Mm-hmm. You do have a lot going on, and we're 2 weeks removed. You just finalized your card. The card's in a little bit of jeopardy. There is 3 unknowns with the Stadium Stampede. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of but wait, Adam Cole and MJF are still buddy. We haven't defined who's what role. MJF should be the heel in this role. And then you have a fatal 4-way match for the women's title where the champion still had to qualify for her match,
which is
to defend her title.
But the person who lost it had a bye. Like,
yeah. And then, but you're going to make your main event wrestle on the pre-show for the tag team titles of technically another company. And what?
And try to do it. I can honestly see Tony Khan booking and finish that match just how he booked. This how Davey Boy and Bret Hart was booked. Same exact move.
The roll up?
No, the sunset flip, grab legs, crunch down. Yeah. Same exact thing.
Dude, he goes for the Panama Sunrise.
Yeah.
And that's how.
Because honestly, I would say MJF is probably more over it right now than Adam Cole as a face.
I think because Adam Cole's AEW time has been riddled with injury. on just himself, not just himself, but also Roderick Strong, also Kyle O'Reilly, also Bobby Fish, all and really Undisputed Era is not around.
Well, what's up with O'Reilly? I thought he was.
I think he's still hurt. I think they're both still hurt. The only one
Fish is gone. He's not no longer under contract.
Oh, that's right. I think O'Reilly's still hurt.
Okay. Because that's like, to me, you don't have anybody built up big enough to take it off of MJF if it's not Adam Cole right now. And the only other person, in my opinion, but he's carrying the other belt, which is Orange. That's it.
But and again, I've said this when AEW first came around. We NFL'd the shit out of this thing. We put everybody on a team. We put everybody in a faction.
Yeah.
We have goddamn conferences at one point, right? But you have stars in Malachi Black. You have stars in.
Did you hear what he said?
No.
He doesn't want to be on Wednesdays. He wants to be House of Black is Saturdays on Collision only.
Okay, fine. Right? But you had that opportunity, I guess is what you say. Right. You had Claudio, right? But now you can't separate the Bullet what are they called? The Blackpool Combat Club.
Yeah.
Right? John Moxley, Claudio, and Wheeler, that they are synonymous with each other now. Yep. Right? You have John Moxley, you have Orange Cassidy, you have Sammy Guevara, you have Jack Perry, who you turn him heel, and where the fuck is he?
The music is stupid. The entrance is stupid.
Right? Is he at least walking out with what's her name? Anna Jay?
No, not yet.
Like, I don't know if you said it or we said it or somebody said it. You call him Hollywood Jack Perry. He walks out with Anna Jay and goes, "This is mine, not yours. I'm better than you."
Yep. And he doesn't even have to say it if you walk out with her.
Yeah.
Embrace the shit.
Right? Jade Cargill loses her title to Chris Statlander and is gone.
I think she may be done with the company.
Maybe. And then Chris Statlander's doing bullshit stuff, doing squats with Renee Young for a backstage interview. Like, what the fuck are we doing? It literally is, you have some of the best talent, the best caliber, like top to bottom roster. And it's like you're sitting there playing My Universe on WWE 2K23.
Right.
Or the GM mode from Raw versus SmackDown in 06. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Right. Bro, I don't know, man.
And I think that's my biggest gripe. I think
and that's what I like. AEW sometimes have a lot of inconsistencies, and then CM Punk treating Collision like it's his baby, getting an argument with everybody over this, that, and the third, talking about the unified message that we need to send. House of Black sitting here saying, "I want to be on Saturdays only," whatever, but it's because of travel, this, that, and the third. Like, bro, like Miro, I don't know what the fuck's going on with him, how they book Powerhouse Hobbs, how they hot potato the TNT title the whole fucking time.
And then you look
where's Wardlow at? Is he hurt?
And then look at the women's tournament, right?
Don't even get me started on women's show.
Toni Storm, Sheeta, Saraya, and Britt Baker. Why the fuck are they in there and not Anna Jay, Sky Blue, and the Bunny? Like, why are we not building those up? Those three up. Sky Blue is great.
Yeah.
Anna Jay is good. The Bunny's not bad either. Or Willow. Willow's the goddamn the IWGP Women's Champion. You have a champion in your midst, and you're saying, "Hey, our biggest show of the year, our biggest international show."
Yeah. Not even. And then here's the other thing with Tony too is like you keep trying to build up Konosuke Takeshita, right? You could have had Takeshita versus Ibushi. Leave that alone. Everybody in the fucking world wants to see Ospreay Omega 3 on Ospreay's home turf.
Yeah, why is that match not happening? No, it's going to be Ospreay versus Chris Jericho.
No, it's Ospreay and Takeshita versus Jericho. No,
I'm looking at it right here.
Is it just Ospreay versus Jericho straight up?
Yeah, it's the Golden Elite, Ibushi, Omega, and Hangman Page versus Takesha and Bullet Club Gold.
Jericho cannot keep up with Ospreay.
No.
I don't know how they. We tried this last pay per view, and that Jericho match looked like shit. Who I forget who did he wrestle in that.
I'll tell you in just a second. And by the way, I think it's hysterical that everybody's talking about how AEW, what they did with Wembley and ticket sales and all that other shit.
Just wait till the show's fucking bad.
Not even that. Not even that. What did WWE do in an hour and a half today?
Yep.
Right? You guys have been touting this and, we're going to put 80,000 people in Wembley Stadium. We beat the WrestleMania 32 ticket sales. In an hour and a half, WWE made $21.5 million and sold 91,000 tickets to their event in April. Yes, I'm an Eagles fan, right? We're all Eagles fans here. In the fucking link.
Yep.
It took you like 3 weeks to sell out. And you're still selling tickets.
Yeah. And because you don't know, like, and this isn't even their call home pay-per-view.
Yeah.
What do you think would happen if WWE had a WrestleMania in Wembley Stadium? With like,
oh my God,
100,000
easily.
Versus the Steve Warrior week prize this morning. I want pair of tickets for Saturday. Stop.
Did you really? Did you really? Spellman, I need some proof, man. If you did, hey, more power to you, buddy. Very, very happy for you, right? I'm not going. I am not going to WrestleMania. I was on the fence about it. You know, tickets went on sale way too early for me.
Yep.
I could have put it on a credit card, but as you and I talked about in our chats, I am not going into credit card debt for WrestleMania tickets.
Nope. I would do it if I know I'm definitely not going, and I can flip the tickets for double the value.
And then the other thing is, like, I haven't sat in the link in 15 years easily, maybe even 20. I have no idea if I'm going to be comfortable.
Yeah, because it's stadium seating. That's the other thing. You have to be on the floor.
Yeah.
You have to be on that floor to get that seat to where you're gonna feel comfortable. And that seat probably is it from my daughter told me, I think it was like 4,000.
Yeah, no. It better be for both nights.
No. That's why I said, bro. Like if you can,
yeah, man. DM me that video. I want to see that.
If you can be in the area at least, and just fly up and just be around the environment. It's going to be so many different, probably special watch parties. It's probably going to be live. My computer's glitching out. Live podcasts from everything. WrestleCon's probably going to be around.
Well, and yeah, so that is still on the table. It is still on the table to potentially fly up, take a couple of days, fly up, maybe do some of the surrounding events that I don't normally do, right? Like the WrestleCon, you know, like hopefully they bring back Access in its true full glory. Like I would do Access again. I loved Access in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, that's where I got this.
Yeah.
You know, because it says Ritz on the back. I had it custom made. You know, and then that would also open up the doors for us to do something special. Because, you know, I'm going to take full advantage of what we are and try to do something with it.
Yep.
I think we'd be crazy
25 years.
I think we'd be crazy if we didn't try to do something with it.
Yeah.
You know, this is absolutely a pull back the curtain conversation. You know, this is something we would talk about off air, but I have no shame in saying, all right, who do we know?
Yep.
Right? Who do we know? What connections do we have to try to, I may not be in the stadium
right
for that event, right? But how do I make the most out of that weekend? Do I fly up? Do I fly up on like Thursday, stay through till maybe Tuesday, or fly up Friday, right? How are things going to fall? I'll know more once I see a schedule for that week.
Yep. Yeah, no, for sure.
But I am 100% not going to WrestleMania. But that means no matter where I am, if I'm in Philly or if I'm in Houston, there will be live reactions to WrestleMania.
Of course, has to be. Now, the Raw after, SmackDown before, that's what I'm gunning for now. The setup. Let's set up the table. Let's set up the table. Then just be in the city, close to it somehow. You know what I mean? For that whole weekend. And then just live it up.
There's a lot on the table. There are a lot of conversations that will need to be had between the wrestling chapter of this company to figure out how we best do what we can do.
Logistics needs to be.
The logistical side of it. Yeah. Do you have anything for just running? Anything at all you want to talk about?
Anything I want to talk about? So I saw something today.
Okay.
That Deuces Ooses is taking a break.
So I've heard that.
Okay.
I've heard that prior to SummerSlam.
Okay.
That is why everything was shot the way it was shot and done, and he did want to take a break. And I think the rumor is Survivor Series.
Okay.
They're gonna build on this Jimmy thing for a little bit, and kind of give Jay that break, that time. Yeah. Right. So we're not burnt out on him. We long for him to come back.
Okay. That's really it. As far as running.
So
do you have anything?
I do. I have a couple of things.
Okay.
So first of all, you, sir, know who your opponent. Well, you don't know who your opponent is, but you were successful this past week on Fandemonium.
I found my smile, people.
You did. You found your smile, and now you're sitting comfortably waiting to see who wins versus Brian Daly and Ralph Delavecchio this week.
Mm-hmm.
And then your championship opportunity is in the wings.
Yeah, I got somebody with the initials RB.
Yep.
In my crosshairs. That bitch is on my scope.
And then we also have football coming up. You know, birds of a feather, you guys.
Oh, God. Is this a football question coming up?
Yeah, this is a football question coming up. Shit. You guys have been talking preseason. You got to react to the Eagles-Browns game.
Yes, sir. Yep.
And so one thing that – because I haven't had a chance to go back and watch yesterday's show. I was at karaoke. We haven't seen any starters really play. We haven't seen those top guys, our A-list stars out there. We're getting to see our backups. We're getting to see our
NXTs, pretty much.
Yeah, our developmental guys. You guys yesterday talked about Eli Ricks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if he'll make the 53-man roster.
Mm-hmm.
What are some other names of people that you're seeing that you think should be in those positions? And who are some starters that you think are in trouble?
So Eli Ricks, now I will expound on it. I think he definitely makes the roster because the guy that was in front of him actually is out for the season now. He tore his Achilles last night. Zach McPherson. So he's a Texas kid.
Uh-huh.
Prayers are for him with speedy recovery, so he can get back on the field and do what he's trained his whole life to do up until this point. Starters who I think could be in trouble. I want to kind of say, because
Sean, I did get it. I won't play it on the air just because of copyright reasons. I don't want to do anything that would put us in danger.
Right.
For that, but I did get it. I do see it. We're gonna play it when we get off the air. So there is legitimacy to it. So this motherfucker is going to WrestleMania. Congratulations to you, sir.
Congrats.
And I will address this in a moment.
I would say our whole linebacker core.
Okay.
Because there's nobody set in stone. They were playing different combinations, guys that they just brought in, guys that have been here in camp, guys that were special teamers last year. We lost both our starting linebackers in the free agency this past year, Kaiser White and also TJ Edwards, who went to Chicago, and then I think Kaiser went to Arizona, if I'm not mistaken. So I wouldn't say that's not necessarily answering your question, because this is the fact of it's not, because I think all the other positions are stable, but there's still competition going on. You may, I don't know, generally this game on Thursday against the Colts, which is also at the link, you may see the starters for a series. Like, you have to do something. Like,
right, that's what I was talking about it at work, because I live in Texas. There's a lot of Cowboys fans around me. So
even in Houston?
Even in Houston. But hell, the guy that sits across from me is a huge Cowboys fan. So, and this is our first full football season where we're just gonna talk shit all year. But we were talking about how I want to see, like, for example, I want to see Jalen play, with some of these other guys, because at some point he may have to, for God forbid he has to play with some of these guys, but he may have some of these guys. I want to see how he meshes. Do these guys mesh before you say, hey, we're going to make this our 53-man team? Because he may mesh with, somebody that would potentially be on the third or fourth string or not even make the team, versus who Nick Sirianni says, oh, this could be our backup running back or our backup wide receiver.
That theoretically could happen. Here's the problem with that. The NFLPA, the Players Association, I forget what year it was. Whenever the current CBA went into effect, they negotiated the worst possible deal for themselves. If you have somebody come in, right, and you can just anything and everything that you can do to take advantage of that customer, they did. I mean, so this is in the new CBA, and they don't have the fourth game, which for a while they didn't have they got rid of the fourth preseason game, right?
Yeah.
But then they only had 16 games. But then they did it on the pretense that they knew within a couple years the 17th game was coming during the regular season, because they was like, well, we just want an extra game, but we want to get paid for the game, because they really don't get paid for preseason games. So that's where you see poor tackling. You see, I equated the rest. You see people missing spots, missing their marks, just being sloppy, not taking care of the other person in the ring, right? That's kind of what you see with this. And no matter what they try to do what they try to do is they simulate these joint practices. So Cleveland and Philly, they had joint practices Mondays and Tuesdays, which they try to get to game-esque level. In some ways it does, but once again, for us, the eye test, you want to see something, right? So that definitely makes a point.
And when the lights are on, it's inevitable. You want to show up, you want to show out. And I said it last year when we got a couple football questions, just because people don't understand we're a wrestling show. When it comes to the preseason more so now is more dangerous than it ever has been.
Right.
And yes, as a fan, I want to see Jalen Hurts go out there. I want to see Jason Kelce go out there. I want to see, all these guys go out there and show me, hey, I shouldn't be scared in 2 weeks when we go up against the Patriots.
You should never take the football field to be scared, but
like I shouldn't be scared that you're not going to miss your spot. Right. You're going to miss your spot. You're going to miss your mark. You're not going to be in sync with each other.
Right.
But then as like from a coaching perspective, you look at, all right, I have 3 preseason games. Yeah, we've got joint practices, which are going to be our simulations and can kind of help me fill the void. But there's something about a joint practice. And like I was just saying, when you're in a stadium full of 50,000 people, yes, it's a preseason game, but it's football. How are these guys reacting to a stadium full of Philly fans?
It's so, you said that, right? And the only thing I could think of, and I know the wrestling part of the show is quasi done. I've thought about this with AEW and All In, and you coming out and you seeing 80,000
people. That might be 7 times what some of these people have ever wrestled in front of.
Exactly.
So,
this past Dynamite only sold 5,000 tickets. We don't talk about that shit though.
No, fuck that. Why would we do that?
Okay, but no, what you're saying is absolutely right. It makes perfect sense. How can these guys get it? And you can't, because I don't think they're doing joint practices with the Colts, right? Okay. So but you got to play that fine line because you don't want anybody to get hurt, right?
Exactly. Everybody's still learning the NFL way to do it, right? For lack of a better phrase, you're talking about the WWE doing things. Right. You look at every football program, whether it's Nick Saban at Alabama or Penn State or LSU or, Texas or A&M or wherever.
Right.
Everybody's got a different program. Everybody's got a different way of doing things. And even that's why I don't watch college football. The rules are borderline fucking different.
Yep.
Right.
Like in college football, you don't have to get 2 feet in. You can have 1 foot in.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's different. It's different, bro.
It is, and so these guys are still learning.
Yep.
Especially a lot of these rookies, and so your timing is just so important and so critical.
Right.
And that's why you see a lot of injuries. And like you said it, your biggest focus going into Thursday night's game is you're watching, and even the practices, you're watching the linebacker core.
Yep.
Because while, yes, our offense is great, Jalen Hurts is our franchise player, and we've got a solid, weapon system around him. If our defense isn't what it was, a few years ago, we're not going to see the Super Bowl. Right. We're not going to see the playoffs, and because we're going to have teams run all over us.
And that's the key thing. If you could talk about a weakness from the defense last year, it's probably the run defense. And honestly, we had the same questions going into last season with the linebackers, but the linebackers overperformed. And now you had those guys who overperformed per past expectations are now playing for other teams. So you had questions of areas on your defense. Not only were those questions answers, but those guys passed expectations to the point where other teams offered them life-changing money.
And I think the defense got the shaft at the end of last season with the whole Jonathan Gannon stuff and everything like that. Which, by the way, I think he got off way too easily. But they got pillaged.
Yeah.
They lost. Howie, for lack of a better phrase, Howie let it happen.
You just can't pay everybody, and that's the other thing. But that's once again that we go into the CBA to where what football players is, and it's 53 men on the roster. I get all that, but the way the money breaks down, bro, it's just not. It's not conducive for teams to be able to build and sustain cores like it is in other sports.
I agree, and for me, I'm not gonna watch the Colts game. I don't watch preseason.
Yeah, I mean,
rephrase that. I'll watch it because it was all. The Browns game was on at karaoke, so we watched it, right? And I watched Thursday Night Football because it's on there, right? I will keep my eye on the game, but my eyes are really gonna be glued on September 10th against the Patriots to see what this squad, coming off of a heartbreaking, bitter, pissed off loss in the Super Bowl, and it's a different New England Patriots team. It's not the franchise, it's not the dynasty that it used to be, right? How are you going to set the tone for the season? What are you going to do? And that's a big thing to look at as we get closer to the football season. And I find us that because now you're here and we don't really do a lot of football discussion, but I'm open to it and I learn a little bit more from it, and I'm probably surprising some people with the fact that I can maintain a little bit of a conversation about it. But there's a lot to talk about when it comes to Eagles football.
Well, it's a lot to talk about. It's a different conversation we're having this year versus last year, and a lot of it is expectations. The expectations are through the roof, and now it's a different type of pressure for this team this year and than it was last year, even for Jalen. Jalen got the money now. Now you got all the accolades outside of the MVP and the Super Bowl ring. How hungry are you still?
Yes.
Right. For Sirianni, it's the same thing. Can you go back and do it again? And now last year, you kind of had a target on your back coming in. Now this year, from everybody else, every team that you're going to play those 17 weeks, you have a target on your back. Like there's people calling your conference fucking JV compared to what the AFC is, and you better be in the NFC Championship game. And if you don't do that, anything else is less than expectation. Anything else is a failure.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So that's hard, and you have to have that one track mind, and you have to stay locked in and focused for a long time. But if anybody I think is going to do it, I think it's going to be Jalen. I would equate Jalen to the John Cena right now.
Yeah.
That's like eat, sleeps, breathe the business, wants to get better every day, night in, night out, willing to sacrifice missing everything else around him to be there for his team. And that goes to show last night, the third string running back fumbled the ball. Jalen Hurts is over there talking to him in the sidelines after.
Yep.
So
definitely a lot to keep our eyes on. And Pete, I want to thank you for. I haven't gotten a chance to thank you properly on air. For jumping on with us, deciding to join the In This Very Ring crew.
It's more like a twist of the arm. I don't know.
Yeah, sure, bite me. But we haven't had a full show where it's been the three of us yet. That will be next week for our All-In preview show, right? Yeah, our All-In preview show will be next week. So it will be the three of us back on here for the first time. But I want to take this opportunity and thank you very, very much for being, breathing new life into what we're doing over here,
pleasure,
bringing a new perspective to it. Excited to see what we do. Great conversation tonight. It was a ton of fun, guys. Thank you so much, everybody in the chat that was there throughout the whole night. We talked about Edge. Is Edge in your top 10 of wrestlers of all time? Highlights, all of it. We want to thank Dr. Paul Vidal at Specialized Physical Therapy. His 2 locations, Burlington and Cherry Hill, New Jersey. He's our doc, make him yours. Find him on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. We also want to thank Allen Z Travel. Allen Z Travel sponsors this show each and every week, and they specialize in creating the vacation of your dreams at Disney, Universal, or wherever your heart calls you. Let their talented team of travel experts, including yours truly, create a custom vacation for you without any of the stress. Allen Z on over to allenz-travel.com/take the trip and get in touch with myself.
Why is that not in the read? Why is that not?
Because it cuts out. There's only so many characters you can put in. Don't worry, the read's getting reworked. The read, I
was about to say, like, I've been taking business writing courses for work, and I'm looking at this as so much fucking clutter right now.
Yeah, the read is getting reworked for other reasons. But anyway, myself, Chucks from Birds of a Feather, we're both travel agents with the company. We would love to help you start planning your next vacation.
And this is any Disney site.
Well, it's any Disney site. It's any Universal site. It's most major cruise lines. All-inclusive resorts. We do have some other, like, I know we can do the Nickelodeon resort. We have some other access to other all-inclusives, not just sandals and beaches.
Right.
So I just don't do international. It's the one thing I've never done, so I can't turn around and say how to do it. But we do have some people in the company that do international as well. So even if you want international, we can get you there. We can get you squared away. And we take care of everything, guys, from start to finish. We're with you the entire way. But for Pete Evans, I'm Ritz. Butters will be back next week. We'll see you guys next week. Until then, tell somebody you love them. Thank you, Edge. Peace, love, and joy. We're out.